Okay, so with Docker is a container runtime. Basically, we we know Docker exists because of say dependency issues with systems, and a way to go around this by building them in containers. And so in order for you to work with Docker, you need to ensure that you have Docker installed on your local system. So assuming you have a PC or some kind of system, you would want to install Docker on it. Once you install Docker on the system, technically what you're doing is you're installing that part of Docker which is able to understand the commands, which is more like the engine. And that engine will be listening to the API calls. So basically the commands that you send. So that CLI things you do. So let's say Docker something, and then it will do a particular job. But as part of it, Docker has certain components. The components that will be keeping track of the images that you use inside your system. They also have another component that will be keeping track of the containers that are built, because at the end of the day, Docker is going to help us build containers from images. Also, because some containers will require some data storage, so there is that component that is also used to hold volume, which is data. And there are also components that can be used to create networks within Docker. So these are kind of roughly some of the main stuff that goes into the Docker environment within PCs. So these various environments or various components are sometimes referred to as objects. So the image, the container, the volume, and the network are kind of objects. Basically, there are various components, and anytime we're trying to work with Docker, we would want to be associating it with a particular object at a particular time. So if you're using an image, then it means it's coming from the image object. If we're creating or using a container, it's coming from the container object. If we're using a volume, it's coming from a volume object which was created. Or if we're creating a network or using a network, then it means it's coming from the network object.